Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into one of the most unbelievable and shocking stories to come out of KwaZulu-Natal in recent months. It has all the elements of a political thriller: police officers accused of torture, secret bush interrogations, demands for bribes, and a commission of inquiry ordered by none other than President Cyril Ramaphosa himself. The scandal centers around a suspended police officer, Samkeliso Mlotshwa, who claims that his very own colleagues in law enforcement turned on him in a case that has left South Africans shaking their heads in disbelief. Let's start at the beginning. Mlotshwa was not just any ordinary cop. He became one of the main suspects in the high-profile kidnapping of KZN businessman Zakariyya Desai. The story was already headline material. Desai had allegedly been snatched up, and his kidnappers were said to have demanded a jaw-dropping ransom of 35 million rand. Alongside Mlotshwa, two other men were charged, Esmail Molide Ramos Nongi and Setifane Pereira de Costa Brights. With such big names and large sums of money, the public expected a clean, professional investigation. But instead, what unfolded looked more like a crime novel than a legitimate criminal process. According to Mlotshwa, after he was arrested in Mozambique last year, things quickly went downhill. He says his arrest itself was unlawful, lacking the proper paperwork and procedures. He was transferred across the border to the Kwadukuza SAPS station on November 29, and it was there that he says his nightmare began. In an affidavit submitted during his bail hearing, Mlotshwa painted a chilling picture of what he endured. He says he was woken up at night, taken to an upstairs office, and beaten until he could no longer resist. He claims he was forced to sign a confession under conditions no human being should face. The torture, as he describes it, is stomach-turning. He says police officers used a method they themselves called hanging. They cuffed his hands, slid a steel pipe underneath his wrists and feet, and suspended him so that his body weight pulled down on his arms in unbearable pain. To make matters worse, he claims they placed a plastic evidence bag filled with water over his face, choking him while others continued the beating. According to him, this was not just about punishment. The officers demanded answers about where Zakariyya Desai was being kept. But that wasn't all. After hours of brutal treatment, Mlotshwa alleges that his captors shifted the goalposts. They told him to pay a bribe, 1 million metikais, which he calculated to be about 200,000 rand. Imagine that, police officers, whose job it is to fight crime, demanding a ransom of their own from one of their suspects. According to Mlotshwa, when he refused, they threatened to charge him as an illegal immigrant. He insisted that he had no money, and he claims that is when they decided to hand him over to the Hawks at the Libombo border post. Even here, procedure was ignored. Normally, a confession is taken before a magistrate. But in this case, Mlotshwa says it was arranged before a police colonel because, conveniently, no magistrate could be found. He insists that any confession extracted in that way was made under extreme duress and should never have been accepted as evidence. Now, here's where things get even stranger. When the state built its case, it argued that Mlotshwa and his co-accused acted in common purpose. But when his legal team pushed back, they presented a SAPS attendance log showing that he had been in Komatipoort, hundreds of kilometers away, on the day of the kidnapping. That raised serious questions about how strong the evidence against him actually was. Eventually, in February this year, the charges against him were withdrawn, and the case collapsed. But instead of walking away quietly, Mlotshwa decided to expose what he claims really happened behind closed doors. These allegations are now sitting at the heart of a much bigger investigation. The Independent Police Investigative Directorate, or IPID, has stepped in. They are not just looking at a few rogue officers. Their investigation stretches all the way up to the province's top leadership. Among those named in connection with the scandal is KwaZulu-Natal's top cop, Lieutenant-General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Alongside him, several senior Hawks officials and Metropolitan Police officers are also under scrutiny. The list of alleged crimes is staggering: abduction, torture, arson, perjury, and even illegal extradition. President Ramaphosa could not ignore the mounting pressure. In response, he ordered a formal commission of inquiry, now called the Nhlanhla Commission, to examine these claims and expose the full extent of corruption inside the criminal justice system. IPID spokesperson Lizzie Souping has refused to give media comment while the commission is ongoing, but behind the scenes, insiders say the investigation has opened up a web of misconduct that stretches far beyond this single case. So, what does all this mean for South Africa? First, it highlights the deep cracks in our policing system. When the people meant to protect you are the same ones accused of torture and bribery, trust in law enforcement takes a major blow. Second, it raises the question of how many other suspects over the years may have been forced to confess under duress. How many convictions might be tainted because of these brutal tactics? And third, it shows the urgency of cleaning up the SAPS, especially in provinces like KZN, where organized crime, political killings, and corruption already run deep. Now, let's be honest. Many South Africans are not surprised. We joke about cash-in-transit police or say that the SAPS works on speed dial for bribes. It's dark humor, but it reflects a sad reality. The very people meant to uphold the law are often accused of breaking it. What makes this case different is that the victim is one of their own, a suspended police officer, who has now turned the spotlight on them. And instead of whispers in the street, these allegations are now on official record in front of a presidential commission. But here's the kicker. Mlotshwa was accused of being part of a R35 million ransom plot, yet the people investigating him allegedly tried to run their own side hustle for R200k. It's like criminals and cops competing in the same market. Who kidnaps better, the gangs or the police? It would be hilarious if it wasn't so tragic. The next few months will be crucial. If the Nhlanhla Commission finds evidence of widespread corruption, it could lead to suspensions, criminal charges, and a massive shake-up in the leadership of the SAPS. But if it fizzles out like so many inquiries before, the damage to public trust may be permanent. So, as South Africans wait for answers, the question remains, was Samkeliso Mlotshwa an innocent man caught in a corrupt web, or was he a player who turned on his fellow players when things got tough? Either way, his story exposes something much bigger than just one kidnapping case. It exposes a police service at war with itself, where the lines between justice and criminality are blurred beyond recognition. That's all from today's deep dive. If you found this story as gripping as we did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave us a comment below. Do you think Mlotshwa is telling the truth, or is this just a clever way to escape accountability? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.